Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel again. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the final season, the last episode of Attack on Titans. Yeah, I know I'm late, but I had to rewatch the whole anime to give you this review. Um, so I'm gonna be talking about the final episode, but also I'm gonna be talking about the anime in general. And before I start the video and start the review, I wanna send a special thank you to Isayama. Thank you for the last 10 or 11 years, I think, of the delivering this masterpiece to us, giving us one of the best stories I ever read, and being this huge, like you made a huge influence and impact on the anime world. I think Attack on Titans is like Attack on Titans made the anime fan base actually bigger. A lot of people entered the anime world through Attack on Titans, and I would love to thank Isayama, and also I want to thank Wet Studio and Mappa Studio for their great job delivering this great manga, and making us like watch and enjoy this great show. And I am really sad that it ended, but like any good things, everything must to like go to the end, and that's what I want to say. Thank you to all of you, and let's get started with the review. First of all, before I start the review, one quick thing: please like the video if you enjoy this content, and also subscribe to my channel if you didn't, and give me your thoughts about the ending down at the comment section. Give me your thoughts. What do you think? And let's start with the review. So in general, the final season, the final episode was actually amazing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the episode. I didn't feel the time. It was like, I think, an hour and a half, and I didn't want it to finish, to be honest. The story was amazing. The final was I actually liked the ending. I know some people like the ending, some people hate the ending. Like any other work, there's nothing wrong with that. You can love an ending of a show, you can hate the ending of a show. There's a lot of speculations and a lot of disagreement when it comes to the end of any show, not just Attack on Titan, but any show. Some people love it, some people hate it, and that's due to the expectations. I think everybody, like they build their own ending in their head and they expect that to happen, but when something different happens, they don't like it. But I actually, in general, I enjoy the story. I like the ending. I think it's a good ending. It's not like terrible or like worst or anything. No, it's actually a really good ending, and I think Isayama did a good job closing this the story. So yeah, so let me organize my thoughts for a second. Yeah. So first thing I want to talk about is Eren. Eren Yeager. Why did Eren do that? And I think he did that because of what he saw. Like his speech and his word with Mikasa, not with Mikasa, with Armin, the flashback, the one we figure out that he actually talked to all his friends separately and erased their memory and told them that you will get back the memory the moment I die. So he actually told Armin that he see the future and the past at the same time, and he tried 100 times to change this destiny and this faith and this future, but he couldn't. Every time the outcomes is the same. So he's like he was struggling a lot, even showing, like, we understood why he had that huge cover in the previous season, when he was talking to Armin and Mikasa, and how he told her that you are a slave, and how he told him you're weak and blah 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 and all that. It was I think that was all a cover, because he know the outcome. So he thought that let me make them hate me, so they kill me, because otherwise they won't kill me. They will actually try to save me. And he was like pushing them into killing him, because he thinks that's the only way for all, like this future, the one he saw is the only salvation for them. Also, like his number one priority was saving the island, saving his island and his people. So I think that's why he killed 80%. Some people say why he didn't go and kill 100%. And I believe he didn't do that because if he did that, then the Eldians will actually start fighting each other. So by keeping those 20% alive, you will actually make the Eldians look at them as a common enemy and then actually unite. And that's what we saw at the end, how they made an army and they start preparing for any invasion or any act of revenge from the other nations. And I think he made like let's have a common enemy, because if we don't have a common enemy, we're gonna start turning on each other. And that's actually human nature, and we saw that in like through the history, that whenever people have common enemy, they are united and they're strong. But as soon as they have peace and they defeat their enemy, they just start fighting each other after a couple of years. And that's happened through history. You can read about it anywhere. Also, we saw like how how he tried, like Armin tried to destroy like Eren Titan, or the whole skeleton, like the founding Titan, by blowing it, by transforming into a Titan and blow the whole skeleton. But then Ymir find out and she stopped him. But then we saw how he went to met Zeke at the path. And I think that's another point that I want to mention. We saw that actually Zeke is the guy with the most time spent in the path. The path where all the Eldians and all that power of the Titan and Ymir is, where the sand, that place where there is a whole sand in it. I think I think Zeke, because if you think about it, through the season, whenever Zeke speak or say something, it's like you learn new thing from this guy. You learn new thing about this world, about the Titan power, about the Eldians, about the history of the power of the Titans. Everything you learn from Zeke. Like when you think about it, most of the thing we learned about the Titans came from either Grisha Jaeger or Zeke Jaeger, one of the two. Also, Kruger the owl did give us some information, but those two are the one with the most knowledge. I am assuming here. That's what I think. So we saw how they start talking, and how Armin and Zeke start like going back and forth. The moment when Armin was looking at a leaf and remembering his time with Mikasa and Eren, and at the same time Zeke looking at it as a baseball and remembering his mentor. And then after that, how they all show up, the former users of the Titan power, and how Armin told them that lend us your power. And then that's how they saved Armin, because all these Titan turned against Ymir, and then they actually saved that's how they saved Armin. The other thing is like the one that actually I think like how Jean actually struggled with his feelings toward Eren, but also like how he's calling him like the suicidal. Like that's actually funny, because that's what Eren actually did. He went through a path that he knows at the end he will die, and that I would say that's a suicide. But like it just show you that's Eren character from the beginning. Because Jean, we remember how he was like looking to go for the police, but then Eren and his speech and talking about it made all of these guys go to like become scouts. And it's just how that's like something really really interesting, and I liked it. That scene, I liked it a lot. Also, I like Jean's scene with Reiner, when he saved Reiner and he mentioned the scouts also. That's something that gave me like like made me a little happy that you guys remember you both are scouts members, even though Reiner as a traitor. But at the end you both actually came here, forgot all your disagreements, and focused on one target, is to save humanity from Eren Yeager. And it's just I enjoyed that specific that specific moment with Jean and Reiner. Also, we saw the creature. I would say the slime. That's what I call it. It's actually like releasing gas that actually similar to the one Zeke used to use with the wine, the one that actually transform all the Titans into all the Eldians into Titans. And we saw how the only the Ackermans and the Marleys are the one that can survive it, and then how Jean and Connie like actually accept their fate. I think that's because in their head they're like, we did everything. Like those two actually did everything. They don't have Titan power. They don't have Ackerman power. They have nothing. They're just like regular Eldian, but they actually did great like job over the last few seasons, and for them over the time fighting for the cause, saving Eren, saving the humanity, doing all these things. It's just like that's something I enjoyed a lot. So then we saw like during that moment, and in all like they start like attacking like those Titans start attacking Reiner, the one who was trying to stop the slime, and then how Peak and Annie help him, and then we saw how Mikasa start crying because Levi told her that it's up to us to stop Eren. So in that moment, Mikasa realized it's like her final decision. That's it. We need to stop Eren. We need to kill Eren, and that's like for Mikasa it was a huge deal because that's her love. That's the man she admire and love so much since she was a kid when he saved her and gave her the scarf. She's been in love with him. So then we saw how like during that moment how Mikasa and Armin, they both got like a quick let's say flashback, or maybe like it's actually a dream, but it's actually a flashback. It's a dream. It looks like a dream, but it's actually a flashback from Eren. Eren talked to them and did all these things with them, but then he like he erased their memory, so they don't remember this conversation until the moment he died. Because like for Eren, he told Armin that he tried, like he sees the future and the past, and he tried to change this destiny or this faith, but he couldn't do it. Like everything he does will lead to the same ending. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going through with this terrible future. But he believes that this future is the best for his friends and for his island. So we saw like we saw how Mikasa's flashback. She's in a hut with Eren, and and Eren is like waking her up, and then he's like he said that it's been 2 months since the Marley War, and they're like they were just hiding, and that I just want to live my next 4 years in peace until I die. Also telling her that to throw away the scarf as soon as I die. It was something like a heartbreaking for me. And then he asked her to forget him and live her life. But then at the same time he tell Armin, when Armin Armin was like angry at Eren, like why you're pushing us away, and what's your real motives. But Eren told him like I want the scouts to be like the heroes of the world. Like he wants to repeat what with Willie Tybur spoke on that stage. You remember like when he told about the Marley soldier and the king, and how they made him the hero of this whole story. But it's actually the king who was the one who fought for peace and actually took his people and went to like protect them inside the wall, out like away from the whole world. So they like Eren was trying to do the same thing. But also, like, Eren starts speaking to Armin and explaining Ymir motives, and he told her that she was in love with King Fritz, like the terrible guy who was like treating her the worst way and the worst way possible. He was treating her like garbage. But let me say something about this, because a lot of people didn't like that Ymir did this, or Ymir was just following King Fritz. But through the history, when you read history of our world, the actual world, you see how slavery was like a terrible thing, but also it was something like when you read about the slaves, you see how they were like way stronger than their master. Like the slaves were way stronger than their master. They can actually form an army and take over a whole country if they want. But why they didn't do it? That's because they are slaves. Like slaves, from the moment you are born, you are a slave. You live your life following your master, obeying your master, doing anything your master says. And it's like for them, our master is like our God. So you cannot disobey your God, or like your God is your God. So your master is like your owner, your God, your everything. So for slaves, it was like only like a little like rare cases where slaves were actually like went outraged and start fighting their masters and start killing or killing their masters or doing anything. So and he's like how like so like that's why like people say like, oh, King of Fritz actually cut her tongue and he was terrible to her. Yeah, but he was her master. Even when they pointed out when all the people pointed out at Ymir that she's the one who did the terrible thing of like letting out the pigs, which actually at the last episode we found out that Ymir actually did it. She actually the one who opened the door for the pigs to run away. So she wasn't I always thought that she was like misjudged by the people. Actually, they rat her out, or maybe they stepped over her, threw her under the bus and all that. So but it turned out that she actually did it. So that showed you that she was like, I think she felt bad for this young pig, that he will be a slave like her. I'm assuming. So like yeah, so like Ymir, the whole case of Ymir and how she was suffering for 2,000 years, and then he told Eren told Armin that only Mikasa can save her, and that's also something that people didn't understand. When Eren said Mikasa can save her, it's like Mikasa can teach Ymir a lesson of sacrificing your lover when he's wrong, when he's doing something terrible like killing all these people. Yeah, you need to stop him. No one else will. You're the one who can stop him. So Ymir was the one that can stop King of Fritz from doing everything what he did in the past. But she didn't, and she was thinking that, yeah, because no one can. But then she saw how Mikasa cut Eren's head off, and also kissing him at the same time, which showed that she did that because she loves him. She doesn't want him to be like that. She doesn't want him to do all this terrible crime of wiping out the whole humanity. um, but it's like it's right, like it's really like interesting how it turned out for Ymir. Yeah, and also like Eren, as I said, revealed that he can see the past and the future, and then that he tried to change the outcomes, but no matter what he does, the future still the same. So then he's like tell Armin that you all forget me and just move on, and then Armin punched him, and then how Eren, then that's that emotional breakdown of Eren, and he's like try start crying and saying like, I don't want to die, and but the rumbling will actually kill 80% of humanity, and then like in this way the rest of the civilizations will drop to the same level as the as Paradise Island, and then no one will actually go on revenge and attack you for a long time. And but at the same time he didn't want to wipe, which as I said, he doesn't want to wipe the whole civilization and humanity, because if he does that, the island Paradise will fight each other. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna start fighting each other, the aliens among themselves. So I have to create a common enemy for my people. That's this way I make sure they're united. And then it's like yeah, so like and Armin start crying, and Eren say that it's my fault that Sasha and Hango, like Hanji is like died. And the idea of Eren like freedom is like Armin said that they will suffer together in hell, and then they hug each other, and they're separated. So Eren say he will erase Armin memory as he did to Mikasa, and then we figure out later that he did that to all of them. So but he will remember when it is time, when Eren dies, all of these people, even Historia, we find out that she talked to Eren about the future, or what's gonna happen next. So turned out that turned out that the conversation was when Armin was with Annie on the ship, and Mikasa was like Mikasa was also having the conversation with Eren, and then Eren erased their memory. Yeah, next thing like we see like Eren die, and then and how everybody start remembering their conversation with Eren, and then how Mikasa start like how Mikasa start holding Eren's head in her hand, and how we saw like then realized that Eren would like also Mikasa realized that Eren would often visit this specific area where he loves to take a nap, which is something we like. That's one thing I liked. He like Eren actually was laying down at the first season under that tree, and then Mikasa comes and wake him up, and he was actually in tears. Then he looks at Mikasa and tell her, your hair was longer. So like that showed you how Eren was actually watching or looking at the future, and he was also looking at the past, and it was all together like confusing. So for him, he was looking at both, and he was trying to do outcomes, but never works for him. Also, like we saw like the how like after Eren died, the whole power of Titan is disappear. It's like Eren would often like he erased the whole power, and then they realized that the outcome Ymir predicted is Mikasa erasing the power of the Titans from the world. And it cuts to Reiner, Jean, Connie, and Gabi again, and they turn back to human after the death of Eren. That they are back to being human. And then we see how Connie was saying that Eren told me my mother will turn back to turn human again, and he told Annie that the pure titan will live a long life, and her father finally hugs her. And then we see Jane and Connie see Sasha. They start seeing Sasha in front of them, and they start like crying. Levi see his seeing his scout friends, especially Erwin Smith, my favorite character in the whole show, and talking to saluting them with their with the scout solution, and is like and Historia start then we see Historia celebrate the birthday of her child, and then we see how 3 years pass, and how Eldia formed a military to protect itself from any revenge work from the other nations, and then Eren had confident in Historia that the conflict would never die down, and she confessed it to the scouts, who are now they are like Marley ambassadors. And then we saw how like Annie's worried that Eldia may be angry at them for betraying them, and then how Armin is confident that they won't be killed, as everyone will be curious to know what went down. Levi has retired and looks after the